everybody. I'm Laura Trump coming to you from my home in New York, where we're doing our part to defeat the coronavirus. Help is on the way following the passage of President Trump's relief package for working men and women all across America. Joining me is the former CEO of CKE Restaurants, Andy Pudzer. Andy, welcome back. Great to see you.
Great to be here, Laura. Thank you for having me.
Although we're both at home, so a little bit unique circumstances, but we're all doing our part to stop the spread of coronavirus. I think a lot of people want to know more about what is in the $2 trillion relief package. What does it mean for working Americans?
Well, it's really a tremendous package. There's never been a package like this for working Americans. You know, if you're single, you're going to get and you make under $75,000, you're going to get a $1,200 check. If you've got a spouse and 2 kids, that'll go up to $3,400 because you get $1,200 each plus $500 for each kid. If you have a retirement plan, you can actually withdraw up to $100,000 from the plan without paying the 10% tax you normally would have to pay. They've removed that 10% penalty. If you've got an employer plan, like a 401k plan, where you can borrow money, you now can borrow, rather than just $50,000, you can borrow $100,000, and you have a year before you have to make any payments. And then there's unemployment insurance if you don't have a job. Now, you can't quit your job and go get unemployment insurance, but if you don't have a job, normally the average unemployment weekly payment would be $385. It's different state to state. We've added $600 per person per check. So that would be on average $985, which works out to about $24.50 an hour. I mean, that's a tremendous benefit for people who've lost their jobs and can't find employment. So you've got tremendous benefits for individuals. Then you've got the benefit for small businesses, where they can get a $10 million loan if they keep people on the payroll. So if you're working for a small business, you're afraid you're going to lose your job, here's an opportunity for your employer to get loans that will be forgiven if you keep your job, if they keep you on the payroll. So really tremendous benefits under this bill for working class Americans.
The relief includes $350 billion in loans total for small businesses. How is this going to help them when we come out of this? Because I think my parents are small business owners. There was such a boom in small business growth under President Trump in his first 3 years before we got to this coronavirus situation. Yeah. How impactful do you think this will be, Andy? Because I think a lot of people were very worried. How do these small businesses come out of this?
Well, it's really tremendous. You know, the company that I ran, CK Restaurants, owned Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. And that's a big company made up of a lot of small companies because we have a lot of franchisees. And they've been on the phone with me over the past couple of weeks just in a panic because their business, you know, and they've lost 30-40% of their revenue, and you can't stay in business with that kind of loss. These loans will see them through that period, so they can pay their rent, they can pay their employees, they can pay utilities, they can keep the lights on, you know, they can do all the things that you need to do to keep a small business active. Then when we get back to business, at the end of this, the loans are forgiven. So the government actually absorbs that cost. So they're going to be able to keep their businesses going without the added costs that they would have had to incur but for these loans. A lot of these businesses would have disappeared. I'm not sure without this we would have been able to survive.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Andy. I keep saying this. We are so lucky that we had Donald Trump as our president, a man who fully understood how to get our economy up and running again, how to bring jobs back to America. I say it all the time. If not for Donald Trump, could you imagine if Hillary Clinton had won in 2016, where we might be right now as a country? Our economy probably would have never come out of this. But your points are really valid. I think we're so lucky to have been in the really great spot we were going into this. And now, Andy, on the other side of that, who better to get us out of this and to ramp things back up than Donald Trump, right?
Well, I was hoping that's where you would go. We really have an excellent comparison we can make here. You can look at the stagnation and economic decline under President Obama with big government policies, increased taxes. The Federal Code of Regulations got almost to 100,000 pages under President Obama.
Yeah.
President Trump comes in, cuts taxes, reduces regulations. As of the end of the year, the Code of Federal Regulations was down to 73,000 pages. That's a 25% reduction. And businesses were optimistic. They were investing, they were hiring. You're looking forward. It's like the optimism was endless. Everybody thought this could go on as long as he stayed president, as long as we kept these policies. If when this ends, President Trump is able to reinitiate those policies, if when this ends, President Trump is reelected, re-implements his policies, I think we'll see the economy surge back.
So, Andy, I want to ask you, do you think this president has been really masterful with the way he's leveraged the private sector in the midst of a crisis? I don't think anyone could have done quite as good a job as he's doing with that.
That's absolutely right. And it's because he understands the private sector. He doesn't resent the private sector. He's not trying to fight the private sector. He's trying to, really, Roosevelt did this in World War II. He took the CEO of General Motors and put him in charge of really arming the world. Well, that's what President Trump is doing. He's reaching out to these industries. He's having them contribute where they contribute, where he can help. He's helping. He met with the oil industry people today. Every day it seems he's meeting with another industry sector to understand their problems, to see how he can help them, and to see how they can help the economy in general and workers across America.
It will be, but listen, we're all doing our part to keep Americans safe and healthy, and we wish you the best of health. And hopefully soon, Andy, we'll be back together in studio. But until then, stay well, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. God bless.
Relief is on the way as President Trump works tirelessly to lead America through this unprecedented crisis. That's real news for today. If you'd like to get involved with Team Trump, go to DonaldJTrump.com or text Trump to 88022 to join our winning team. I'm Laura Trump, coming to you from home in New York, encouraging you to stay safe throughout this crisis. Thanks for joining us, everybody.